Nuggets signing Isaiah Thomas also set them over the luxury tax as well. So for Denver, two things they wanted to accomplish with making a trade. They wanted to make sure they got under that 15-player roster max. They also wanted to make sure they got under that luxury tax as well, because they do not want that tax bill. And they were able to accomplish that with a trade with the Brooklyn Nets. So this was the trade. The Brooklyn Nets, they were going to be receiving Kenneth Faried from the Denver Nuggets, Darrell Arthur, a 2019 protected first-round pick, and a 2020 second-round draft pick. As for the Denver Nuggets, they were able to receive Isaiah Whitehead in return, who they will release. But more importantly, what they were able to accomplish with this trade, they freed up $21 million in salary cap. They were also able to go from 16 players on their active roster down to 14 players on their active roster. And most importantly, of course, for the owner, they are now under the NBA luxury tax. So no tax bill will be issued to the Denver Nuggets if they stay put with this current roster, which they have at 14 players. They're able to get rid of Kenneth Faried, $13 million deal. Darrell Arthur, I believe he's getting paid around $7-8 million this season. The 2019 first-round pick going to Brooklyn is protected, and it is protected picks 1 through 12. So if they land 1 through 12, of course, it will go back to the Denver Nuggets. Anything 13 through 30 is going to the Brooklyn Nets, and the 2020 second-round pick is unprotected from what I'm seeing right now. I think this is a great deal for both parties. For the Denver Nuggets, like I said, they got some of the important things that they wanted to accomplish off the table. They freed up $21 million in cap space. They were able to reduce that roster size, and they were able to get under that luxury tax. If you're not competing for a championship, you really don't want to be paying a luxury tax bill. Even though I think the Nuggets could definitely contend for a playoff spot, they're not championship contenders at all. So it makes sense for them in that perspective. It makes a ton of sense for Brooklyn Nets, and I really love it for what Brooklyn did. Now, Brooklyn, they were involved in not one, but two trades. So what they did, they got Kenneth Faried, who should be the starting power forward for the Brooklyn Nets. He's on a 1-year, $13 million contract, which means it expires in the summer of 2019. Darrell Arthur, he's getting paid about $8 million, which also expires in the summer of 2019. They were able to get a 2019 first-round pick. Like I said, it is protected, but potentially they could get another draft pick, mid to late pick in the first round in the summer of 2019. 2020 second-round draft pick is okay. That's just thrown in as well. So you can see how Brooklyn is situating themselves to be a heavy hitter and a big factor in the offseason in the summer of 2019. Add that extra pick. Free up $21 million in cap space themselves, because Kenneth Faried, Darrell Arthur probably won't be on that roster. And if they are, they're going to be taking significant pay cuts. And for the Brooklyn Nets, this is exactly what they are building on. And their strategy has been magnificent so far. They took bad contracts to be able to kind of get rid of all these contracts in the same summer. So now they are almost in the same situation the Lakers were in, where you have a ton of cap space to attack and go after all the top free agents. And, you know, the summer of 2019 is going to be a crazy summer. A lot of players, a lot of potential players to be hitting that free agency market. And for Brooklyn, having the money is what's important, because now you can try to sell players on coming down to Brooklyn. We could build around you. We could add a couple pieces. You have enough money for two max type of guys there. So Brooklyn, I love the move. Now, how were they able to even get Kenneth Faried and Darrell Arthur in the first place? Well, they made a trade with the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the Brooklyn Nets, they were sending Jeremy Lin to the Atlanta Hawks. They were sending a 2025 second-round pick. Yes, 2025, we are going that far down the line. They are sending a 2025 second-round draft pick to the Atlanta Hawks. They also are going to give them the right to swap picks with Brooklyn in 2023. So the Atlanta Hawks will get the better of the draft picks in 2023. And for the Brooklyn Nets, what do they get? Well, you get a 2016 second-round pick who has not played in the NBA at all. And I'm not sure who he really is. And if he will play in the NBA, Isaiah Cordonier, I could be saying his name wrong. He has not came overseas yet, so he has not played in the NBA, but they do get the rights to him. 2016 second-round draft pick. Don't really know much about him. Plays overseas. And yeah, that is exactly what they got. So essentially, they got rid of Jeremy Lin, who's making $12 million this season. That was able to help them get enough money to bring in Kenneth Faried, Darrell Arthur this season. And both of their contracts expire. And the Brooklyn Nets, I like the moves they are making. When it comes to Jeremy Lin in Brooklyn didn't really need him because, of course, Brooklyn Nets, they have Spencer Dinwiddie and they have D'Angelo Russell to handle their point guard duties. For the Atlanta Hawks, it gives them flexibility as well because currently, when you look at their point guards, they have Dennis Schroeder, who should be traded just about any minute now. He does not want to be in Atlanta, but they do still technically have Dennis Schroeder. They have Trae Young, who has been very, very inconsistent and up and down during Summer League. So you bring in Jeremy Lin, which now helps Atlanta try to trade Dennis Schroeder because now you have a veteran guy who could give you 25 minutes per game and be just fine. As long as he's healthy, of course. He's still not playing 5-on-5 from his last injury, but Jeremy Lin is healthy. He's definitely a suitable point guard who can start for you if Trae Young is struggling, if you feel like Trae Young's not ready, and maybe you could ease Trae Young into playing heavy minutes because as of right now, I do not think he's ready. I'm one of his critics saying I don't think he'll ever be that great of a player. I think he'll be an okay player who can score here and there. But as of right now, what I've seen in the Summer League, have not been impressed by Trae Young at all. And everything I kind of seen in college looks like it's kind of happening in the NBA. But if you could ease him out there and he's not forced to play 30-plus minutes a game, I think that's a plus for Atlanta. Jeremy Lin, one-year deal. His deal expires summer of 2019 as well. So Atlanta, get out of that contract. If they don't like Jeremy Lin, he could become a free agent. So I like both moves that all these teams really made, position themselves to do what they want to do in the future. I think Brooklyn, though, they are in the best situation, and I love what the Brooklyn Nets have been able to accomplish this entire summer. I think the Dwight Howard deal was fantastic, and then being able to buy out Dwight Howard was a great move. I like what they did before that, getting D'Angelo Russell. And, of course, they had to take the Timothy Mozgov contract, which they flipped for the Dwight Howard to free up all that cap space. And essentially, you got a free second overall pick a few years back in D'Angelo Russell. So I love the moves the Brooklyn Nets make. They have enough money to truly make noise in the summer of 2019. Now, the problem is you're going to have to convince people and players to come down to Brooklyn. But the money's there. The opportunity is there for Brooklyn. And we'll see if they'll be able to capitalize somewhat like the Lakers did this offseason. Now, moving on to the final story of the day. Of course, these are all still rumors.